Hey, it's Jeff with ID10T Garage, and we're back out here working on the 69 Mustang. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and work on the doors. We need to get these doors in place so we can make sure match up to our quarters before we do any welding there. So we're going to have to take the stock door off and start working on our Dynacorn door, seeing what kind of fitment issues we're going to have, seeing what kind of cutting and welding and what kind of different things we're going to deal with. So we're going to get to work on that. So let's get to it.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say.
Hey everybody, back out here. About to start getting more work done on the side of the 69. I'm going to get this fender off, then I'm going to try to work on getting this door off, and then putting the new door on. I want to get that on there, try to get it lined up with the quarter to make sure that we're where we want to be. We'll have to get some of the internals of this door off, get the the lock mechanism and all that stuff sorted and in place. But we need to make sure that everything lines up before we even consider cinching these quarters down. So that's what we're about to do. So let's get to it. Well, I got the door on. As you can see, the gap's about a 1/4 inch or whatever at the top, and it gets real thin at the bottom. So it's not a bad gap, but everything's lining up really nicely as far as the lines. Now I got the opposite here. I have a really nice gap at top, and it gets really tiny in the bottom, and I got a little bit more down here. So it's not, I don't know if it's the door or what, because I'm having some major issues with the fitment on it, and this thing was bondoed so much before, it's kind of one of those hard to tell type scenarios. So I don't know if it's the door or just the car in general, but I mean, it's lined up fairly decently. I mean, I got some adjustment here. I mean, this gap, it's the curvature there doesn't quite match up, but I don't know if that's the door itself or the actual fender, but this might suck in some more too. So I just kind of got things laying up against it a little bit. So once you put the bolts on the bottom, that might change, but that's pretty weird right there. I don't know, but the curve back here, as you can see, the door and the quarter line up really well. So I've got it pretty nicely as far as the whole situation there. So I'll have to maybe work on this fender. I don't know if that's just the fender curve, or it could also be that I just got it too tight up at top and need to pull it down a little bit. So I just kind of placed that on there right at the second. And we are down, like my line is here. So it's up there. So it's kind of was those damned if you do, damned if you don't. and I just set it on there real quick to see how my lines were. But I mean, but as you can see, we're tight up here, so I'm not even sure what the deal is. I might need to work some more alignment. Like I said, I mean, it's tight at the bottom. I mean, kind of tight. So obviously there's a little bit of issues. There's still a little bit of adjustment, I guess, you could be made. And maybe that's what it is. I need this. The bottom of the door really needs to come forward, and I'm having a major issues, at least by myself, trying to get that accomplished. I don't know why. It just seems like I'm having some issues getting it to push forward. Maybe it's because it's probably more of a two-man job. But yeah, I mean, it's semi-decent. I mean, it definitely makes me think that I can make this work. So, hey everybody, Jeff out here working on the car as always. And honestly, I haven't been recording this week so far. I've done 2 days worth of work out here where I really haven't been recording because I'm getting frustrated with my cameras. The batteries keep dying. One of them's got the mount is messed up. But anyways, I'm just going to go over what I've been working on the last 2 days, which is the doors. So this is my OEM door, and I decided to make my own patch panels and patch these two corners. But in the end, I did this because I didn't want to really deal with cutting the repop doors down because they're a little bit too big on the front side. But there's rust, and it's really bad on these bottoms of these lips. And I even patched this corner here and then messed it up when I was grinding it down and cut two of my own holes in there. So the more I look at it, the more I feel like this bottom is just going to be rotted out and it's going to cause some issues, and I'm never going to get it sealed up where it won't come back out. So yesterday I said screw it and started chopping down the door. So the thing I found out about this repop door is where this latch is, it was out a 1/4 inch wider here along this line, and especially it got real tight here at the bottom than the stock door. So the OEM door had about a 1/2 inch less. The sucky part about that is, of course, it's missing from this end. So I'm going to have to add more to this end to get the gap for the fender. But that's really what I've been working on. This door is still not aligned right. It's hard to open, but it closes real easily. But a lot of that is probably because this pin right here is bad. So I've got a lot of play in that. So and you can even kind of tell down here, I think you can see that the basically the hood pin, what the fuck? The pins have a little piece that goes in there that holds them in place, the little copper piece, and it's pretty much not where it's supposed to be. I had the same issue on the bottom one, which I actually had bought a replacement for, and you can really look at this. See, look at those, the copper pieces aren't even in place on this thing. It's just all sorts of play in it, and that's why I'm having issues with that one. So I ordered a new pin for that. I still gotta do some cutting here. As you can see, I'm lined up pretty good, but I gotta cut some more to get this gap, you know, more even. But I'm gonna try to get it fit first. That way I don't overdo it and then have to add back to that side. But for the most part, things are looking good. The quarters are looking like they're in a good spot. So I'll be able to start welding on those pretty soon. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, this door's been a pain in my butt. So that's it. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning into this week's episode. We obviously didn't get as much done as we wanted to. Had a couple speed bumps and everything. So I cut up both my doors, my OEM door, and started to patch it, only to realize it's just too much rust and I was never going to be able to salvage it the way I wanted to. So obviously we moved on to the Dynacorn door and started slicing a 1/4 inch off the front of the lip, which is going to have to go back on the back end of it where the fenders are to get a good gap. So we at least got the door fitting. It was a giant pain in the ass, but then the more I worked on the fitment and getting it to latch right, we kept on having issues and realized that the pin for the upper hinge, the bushings were shot. The bushings were not all in place, so it was just bouncing left and right, up and down, so we were never going to get it fit right with that hinge that way. So we've removed the hinge and we're waiting for our pin and have moved on to other things in the meantime, and that's pretty much why this is going to be such a short episode. But hey, we're working, we're getting things done. So see you next week. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change. Play